Your child happily ate almost everything a few months ago. Now, every meal feels like a battle. They push the plate away, refuse foods they used to love, or insist they're not hungry after just one bite. If you've ever wondered whether you're doing something wrong, you're far from alone. This is one of the most common challenges parents face, and surprisingly, the solution often has less to do with the food itself than what happens around the table. Many parents worry that a child who doesn't want to eat will miss out on important nutrients or fall behind in growth. Those concerns are completely understandable. Watching your child refuse a carefully prepared meal can feel frustrating, exhausting, and even a little heartbreaking. It's easy to start bargaining, pleading, or making special meals just to get a few bites in. But here's something reassuring to remember. Healthy children often go through phases where their appetite changes. Growth doesn't happen at the same speed every day, so their hunger doesn't either. One week they may seem hungry all the time, and the next they barely touch their food. In many cases, this is a normal part of development rather than a sign that something is seriously wrong. That doesn't mean parents should ignore eating difficulties. Instead, it helps to understand what might be happening beneath the surface. Young children are learning independence. Saying no is one way they discover they have choices. Mealtime can quickly become one of the first places where they feel they have control. The more pressure they feel, the more determined they may become to resist. Imagine offering your child a spoonful of vegetables. They turn away. You ask again. They refuse. You promise dessert if they eat. They still shake their head. Suddenly, dinner is no longer about nutrition. It's become a contest over who gives in first. By the end of the meal, everyone feels stressed and nobody enjoys being at the table. The good news is that changing this pattern doesn't usually require fancy recipes or expensive products. Small changes in how meals are offered can make a remarkable difference over time. These changes won't necessarily work overnight, but they can help rebuild a healthier relationship with food, making mealtimes calmer for both parents and children. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore 5 practical things you can do when your child doesn't want to eat. These ideas are based on widely accepted parenting and child development principles, and they're simple enough to start using today. You'll also learn why some well-meaning strategies can accidentally make picky eating worse and what to do instead. The first idea surprises many parents because it feels almost too simple, yet it's one of the most powerful ways to reduce mealtime stress and encourage healthier eating habits in the long run. The first thing you can do is take the pressure off. It sounds almost backwards. When you're worried your child isn't eating enough, your first instinct is often to encourage just one more bite. But children are remarkably good at recognizing when they're hungry and when they're full. Constant reminders, negotiations, or rewards can make eating feel like a chore instead of something they naturally enjoy. Think about how you feel when someone keeps insisting that you eat after you've already had enough. Even if the food tastes good, the pressure changes the experience. Children often react the same way. When meals become a test, they may focus more on resisting than on listening to their own bodies. Instead, offer the meal, sit together, and allow your child to decide whether and how much to eat from what's available. Your job is to provide nutritious choices at regular meal and snack times. Their job is to decide how much they need. This approach helps children build healthy eating habits that can last for years. Of course, this doesn't mean letting children eat only cookies or chips whenever they want. Parents still guide what's served. The difference is that once the meal is on the table, the pressure disappears. A simple example shows how powerful this can be. Imagine a 4-year-old who refuses broccoli. Instead of saying, "You have to eat 3 bites," the parent calmly places a small serving on the plate alongside familiar foods like rice and chicken. Nothing is forced. The child may ignore the broccoli today. They may even ignore it tomorrow. But after seeing it again and again without pressure, curiosity often replaces resistance. Many children eventually try foods they once rejected simply because they no longer feel they're being forced. Now, that's only part of the story. The second thing you can do is keep a predictable meal routine. Children thrive on routines because they help them know what to expect. If snacks are available all day, or if juice and milk are constantly offered between meals, a child may never become truly hungry when it's time to eat. A regular schedule gives the body time to develop a natural appetite. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and planned snacks create a rhythm that supports healthy eating. Water between meals is usually the best choice, while other drinks are often served with meals so they don't reduce hunger beforehand. Picture a child who asks for crackers every hour. By dinner, they barely touch their plate. It may seem like they're an extremely picky eater, but in reality, they've simply filled up throughout the day. A small adjustment to snack timing can sometimes make a noticeable difference within a week or two. Another benefit of routines is that they reduce uncertainty. Children begin to trust that another opportunity to eat is coming soon, so they don't feel anxious or pressured during a single meal. But here's where many parents accidentally make things harder. If a child refuses dinner and immediately receives their favorite snack an hour later, they quickly learn that waiting leads to a more enjoyable option. Without anyone intending it, that pattern reinforces food refusal. Instead, calmly end the meal when everyone is finished and wait until the next planned snack or meal. This isn't about punishment. It's about helping children understand that family meals are the main opportunity to eat. Consistency matters much more than perfection. Every family has busy days, celebrations, and unexpected changes. That's completely normal. What matters is creating a general pattern that helps your child feel secure and supports their natural hunger cues. We've covered reducing pressure and creating a predictable meal routine, two of the biggest foundations for peaceful mealtimes. But there are still 3 more strategies that can make an even bigger difference, including one that transforms picky eaters into curious food explorers over time. The third thing you can do is involve your child in the food before it ever reaches the table. Many children are much more interested in eating something they helped create. That doesn't mean they need to cook an entire meal. Even simple tasks like washing vegetables, stirring pancake batter, placing fruit on a plate, or choosing between 2 healthy side dishes can make them feel included. When children participate, food becomes something to explore rather than something being forced on them. They begin to notice colors, smells, textures, and shapes. That curiosity often comes before willingness to taste. Imagine a child who insists they hate tomatoes. Instead of asking them to eat one, invite them to help rinse the tomatoes, count them, or place them into a salad. The first day, they may only touch them. Another day, they might smell one. Eventually, they may decide to take a tiny bite, all on their own. Progress like this may seem slow, but it's often much more lasting than forcing a child to eat. That leads to the fourth strategy. Keep introducing new foods without expecting immediate success. Many parents assume that if a child refuses a food once, they simply don't like it. But children often need many relaxed opportunities to see a new food before they feel comfortable tasting it. A refusal today doesn't mean they'll refuse it forever. Think about learning a new skill. The first attempt is usually the hardest because it's unfamiliar. Food can be similar. New flavors, textures, and even colors can seem strange at first. A helpful approach is to serve a very small amount of a new food alongside foods your child already enjoys. This way, there is no pressure to finish it, and the meal still feels familiar. Even if they don't taste it, seeing it regularly helps build comfort over time. Now, here's where many parents make a mistake without realizing it. They prepare an entirely separate meal every time their child refuses dinner. While this comes from love and concern, it can unintentionally teach the child that rejecting the family meal leads to a preferred alternative. Instead, try including at least one food you know your child usually eats as part of the family meal. Everyone eats the same meal, but there's always something familiar on the plate. This keeps mealtime inclusive without turning the kitchen into a short-order restaurant. There's another myth worth clearing up. Some people believe that a healthy child should eat the same amount at every meal. In reality, children's appetites naturally change. A growth spurt, an active day at the playground, excitement, tiredness, or even warm weather can all affect how hungry they feel. Another common myth is that a child who skips one meal is automatically unhealthy. For most healthy children, one light meal isn't usually a cause for alarm. It's the overall pattern of eating, growth, energy, and development over time that matters. If you're ever concerned about ongoing poor appetite, weight loss, difficulty swallowing, pain while eating, or other persistent symptoms, it's always best to speak with a qualified pediatrician or healthcare professional rather than trying to diagnose the problem yourself. So far, you've learned how reducing pressure, creating routines, involving your child, and patiently reintroducing foods can completely change the atmosphere around meals. But there's one final strategy that ties everything together, and it often influences children more than parents realize. The fifth and final thing you can do is become the example you want your child to follow. Children learn far more from what they see than from what they're told. When family meals are calm, enjoyable, and filled with conversation, children begin to associate eating with connection rather than conflict. When they regularly see parents and siblings enjoying a variety of foods, they're more likely to become curious themselves. This doesn't mean pretending to love every food or expecting perfect behavior at every meal. It simply means showing that trying different foods is a normal part of family life. A parent who says, "I haven't had this in a while, let's see how it tastes," sends a much more powerful message than, "You have to eat it because I said so." Here's a simple example. Imagine two different dinner tables. At the first, the entire meal revolves around getting one child to eat. There are repeated reminders, negotiations, and frustration. Everyone leaves the table feeling stressed. At the second, the family talks about their day, laughs together, and enjoys the meal. The child is invited to eat, but isn't pressured. They may only take a few bites today, but they're still part of a positive experience. Over time, that relaxed environment helps build confidence around food. It's also important to celebrate progress, even when it seems small. Maybe your child touched a new vegetable today. Maybe they smelled it, licked it, or took a tiny bite before deciding they didn't want more. Those are all steps forward. Learning to enjoy new foods is often a gradual process, not a single moment. Remember that every child develops at their own pace. Some children naturally enjoy trying new foods, while others need more time. Neither automatically means something is wrong. Patience, consistency, and a supportive environment usually accomplish much more than pressure ever can. Let's quickly bring everything together. When your child doesn't want to eat, start by removing the pressure. Keep regular meal and snack times so natural hunger has a chance to develop. Let your child help with food preparation whenever possible. Continue offering new foods without forcing them, even if they're refused at first. And finally, create enjoyable family meals where your own example does the teaching. These strategies won't transform every meal overnight, and that's okay. The goal isn't to make your child clean every plate. The goal is to help them build a healthy relationship with food that can last a lifetime. If you're concerned because your child consistently refuses food, isn't growing as expected, has difficulty chewing or swallowing, or shows other ongoing symptoms, don't hesitate to seek advice from a qualified pediatrician or healthcare professional. Getting personalized guidance can provide reassurance and help address any underlying issues. Parenting is full of moments that test your patience, and mealtimes can certainly be one of them. But with calm consistency and realistic expectations, those stressful dinners can gradually become opportunities for connection instead of conflict. If you found these tips helpful, consider subscribing for more practical parenting advice based on child development and everyday family life. If you've experienced a picky eating phase with your child, share your story in the comments. Your experience might encourage another parent who's going through the very same challenge. And if you know someone who could use a little reassurance at the dinner table, share this video with them. Sometimes the smallest change in approach can make the biggest difference.